George Lucas.
For what, George?
That's you always ask for an edit point so we can edit on YouTube between the end of the regular show and the beginning of the after show. So
the after show is like sassy, right?
I mean, this is when things get
unbuttoned.
Okay, so this is a very different show now, Rachel. Very different show.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Feels different now, but there's going to be some carry through. There's going to be some things that are the same and some things that are different.
Much like episodes 4 through 9, there's going to be some carry through.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify, because Rachel was saying, and I think wisely in terms of your own mental health, that you try to stay out of the Star Wars conversations. You just have your own opinion.
I can't tweet about it. People get mad. You think I'm tweeting about yeah, it's you think I'm like tweeting about political candidates.
And I mean, and you have a Star Wars line in your bio, do you not, on Twitter?
My header is you must do what is right.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Sorry, I'm bad fan.
I'm sorry. It's
right, of course.
Yes.
You must do what you feel is right.
You also list a galaxy far, far away as your
my location. Yeah.
I just want to say, because you stay out of the conversation, which is good.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah. Thank you.
You want a lightsaber fight?
Total.
Hang on, Watto. We'll
the after show.
Yeah.
I know. Oh! My blade's down.
It's really good.
That's really good. That's my official audition, by the way. Anyone out there?
Yeah. So what would you want to play if they're like you're auditioning for Star Wars? You know, you can do whatever you want. What is your
I just want to be force sensitive. Mm-hmm. That's my they want to make me on the dark side. Fine. You want to put me on the light side? Fine. I mean, I'm just so I truly would do anything to be any part of it. If I got to choose, I want to be force sensitive. That's it.
Would you want to be a Will? Do you want to be a Will?
Absolutely.
Because we haven't really shown that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be anything. If they ask, I say yes. That's it.
Hang on.
Two updates.
Okay.
I got the ring light working again.
Nice. There we go.
Deeper into Star Wars hot takes, I just want to make it very clear, because Rachel is saying that she is out of the conversation. She doesn't engage with Star Wars dialogue online. You should know, Rachel, that wishing that elevator antics was in Revenge of the Sith a very popular opinion.
Is it really?
Commonly shared. Not liking the special editions, very unpopular opinion.
Sorry about it.
You might be the only one online who doesn't like this special.
The only person. No regrets.
We can go on talking. I just thought you should know you're very much in the minority there. People
And
online.
That's okay.
The knife, to answer your question.
Right.
I gave Padme a hobby, and there were lots of scenes where she would like get a little piece of space wood and would be like carving little things, and it just was not serving the story at all.
Totally.
I have probably close to an hour of footage of Padme whittling. It was, and I hated cutting it because it was such a nice detail. I was like, oh, she does this to relax.
It's so ironic that you cut the cutting. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so poetic.
Yes, and maybe, and that was, I think, the reason why it was some of the last stuff we took out of the movie, because I'm like, we can't cut the cutting.
Right. So she was rolling up to Mustafar.
Yeah.
To practice her hobby, not anything else.
Well, because like if you whittling hot wood, it'll go to the curve of the knife even easier if the wood is hot.
Right.
You know? Cuts like butter.
So she's like, I'm here, I'm pregnant, my baby daddy's doing some shady shit, but I've got hobbies to upkeep.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, it makes total sense.
Keep your mind at it. Oh.
Let's save this. Rachel.
Save it? Save it?
Save it, Watto.
You think we should save the ringing of the butterbell?
Oh my god.
It was mentioned. I would save this.
It's Norman Rockwell time.
It's Norman Rockwell time. It absolutely is.
It's always Norman Rockwell time.
You knew, because your buddy Steve taught you.
Oh my gosh, I've seen them in front of my face. Like it's
Okay,
very intimidating to see real Norman Rockwells in front of your face. It's like very
got
scary.
to talk about this. So you have been to Steve's house and you've seen the
I have
Rock.
not been to his home, no, but I've been to the Amblin offices in Universal City.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
Rockwell. Which Rockwells do you remember seeing?
I couldn't even tell you, but I remember there was one that was actually a copy, and it was out there in the open, like just the open air. It wasn't covered by glass, and he was showing us all of the pieces, and we were just looking, and he was like, and this one isn't covered by glass. Why isn't this covered by glass? And someone just peeked their hat, and they were like, you're getting it covered. But like that's a copy. That doesn't even, like, it was the most magical moment because he had a question and someone just peeked their head out of a door and answered it. It was wild.
But also the revelation of that moment is that your buddy Steve,
my buddy Steve,
looking at a square inch of wall that is not covered by Rockwell, that even when he goes to get his Rockwell properly reframed and glassed, they put the copy in its place.
Yeah.
It has to be a placeholder.
There has to be a place for the. Come on now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
you
think.
have to. I'm not gonna not look at Rockwell while I'm getting my Rockwell covered.
That would just be silly.
Yeah.
Look, if getting a Rockwell covered meant that you weren't going to get to look at that Rockwell, no one would ever get their Rockwells covered.
Yeah. You got to cover those Rockwells. But when you're getting your Rockwells covered, you got to have some fake Rockwells.
Right. You could say that is your cover Rockwell.
Yeah. You got. What? An incoming guest?
I'm scared.
This is why Patrick didn't want us to get into the weeds.
I just jumped.
I want you to wait. But it's okay.
Patrick, this is the after show.
I know. Rachel, sometimes in the after show we have guests come in too.
Oh my god!
So we're gonna have a guest pop in now. Now the guest, Watto, explain how the guests get introduced.
Oh boy, guest. Okay. Guest, can you hear me in the waiting room? This is Watto. I want to bring you on the show, but I can't do it yet because I don't know how to introduce you. On this show, we do things a little differently. We let the guests write their own introductions. Please type your introduction into the private chat. I am making this explanation long to buffer, to give you enough time to write your introduction. It can be funny, it can be serious, or it can be a little funny and a little serious, like Mary Levinson's Avalon. The perfect mix.
Just giving you background music.
This is our phone waiting music.
Some elevator music for your
it.
Sunday Eve.
Yeah.
Let's quickly, while we're waiting for our guests to type out their intro, let's quickly check in with our roving correspondents, Grow Gizmo and Goo. Can we check in with Grow Gizmo and Goo?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
They're
There
there.
they are. Okay, great.
They look
Thank
good.
you. They look great.
They're doing good.
Can we get a clean take of the background music that we can use in future episodes when we need background music?
There you go. You could loop it.
Okay.
Great.
I mean,
I'll
can we do
say
it?
this,
I'm
I'll say
sorry.
Hang on. Maybe that should be our end credits music from now
Oh
on.
yes, perfect.
I think it's good, but just to give ourselves the option, and we just don't want to have to fix this in post. We want to do this live on set. Can we cut to full screen Grow Gizmo and Goo and get the background music?
You got it.
And for this take, can we do a harmony take that people can mix together?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
There you go.
I
I think that's pretty solid.
That's pretty good. All right,
Yeah.
Watto, we have the introduction in there.
I'm so.
Please welcome our secret weapon in Golden Globe counter programming, a writer for the Conan show, Mike Sweeney.
Yay!
Oh, what a
Like
surprise!
me.
Here we
What
are.
a treat for all your fans.
Thank you for being here, Mike. How are you?
I'm great. It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very honored to be here.
Well, we're honored to have you, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike, this is Rachel. Rachel, this is Mike.
Hi, Mike. Nice
Hi,
to meet
Rachel.
you.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I didn't ask how you were,
Oh,
but now I will. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing. I'm still breathing, and I've got my health. Can't ask for much
Okay.
more.
Now, Mike, were
All
you
right.
watching the Golden Globes? What's your night been like so far?
I watched the Golden Globes,
Mhm.
and
How did it feel?
I watched the beginning. I watched the opening monologue,
Okay.
which, Tina Fey's in New York and Amy Poehler's in LA. So they were split screened, which, I mean, I think they're more fun when they're together, but they did a great job.
Good.
I
And they
mean,
lots of
yeah,
great jobs.
I hate that kind of comedy. Just like two people on different coasts.
Right?
Right.
They even attempted things with people on 5 different screens. And I was
No.
like,
Nightmare.
No.
Absolute nightmare. The timing
second
gets
to
all
5
fucked
screens
up.
come up,
Everyone's
you know.
talking
Just
over
look at
each
us
other.
now, yeah.
Right.
Can you even imagine trying to do
Right.
something with 5
How
minutes?
do you?
I just don't even think
Everyone's
this doesn't
talking
even
over
make any
each
sense.
other,
It
et
just
cetera, et
doesn't.
cetera, et
It's
cetera.
so difficult
Oh my
to
God.
achieve. I don't
Yes,
even
absolutely.
understand. It's
Right.
being
I
so
mean, you're just
wild.
praying for the commercials. Just tonight.
Right. It's all about timing.
Definitely. timing.
Yes,
Yeah.
finally, someone says it. Thank you, Watto.
Now,
Yeah.
Mike, I'm sure you've written for award shows in the past. Are they
Uh-huh.
a pain to write for? Are they fun to write for? What's the hardest part of writing for an award show?
I've written for some Emmy Awards.
Yeah.
So when Conan O'Brien hosted. So the hardest part is it's actually fun the whole way through. Oh God, what a lie. No, it's you know what's weird? When you get there are these other producers that you've never worked with before.
Yeah.
And we like when we did the Emmys, we're used to doing like 5 shows a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we'll decide we need a prop at 3 p.m, and we need it by 4:30, and we'll order it up, and then someone will run around, and it always gets done. Mm-hmm. And the producers on the Emmy Awards, I think, produce 2 television shows a decade or 2 shows a year. Sure. So I remember a month out, we had a prop. It was like a Bible or something. I said, oh, we're going to change this to a book by Dickens. And they're like, Mike, maybe if you had mentioned this a week ago, but the show's in 4 weeks. Like they were,
oh my God.
We had thrown them for a loop. Yeah. So that was an adjustment, dealing with
I'm so confused by what you're saying, Mike, because you're saying that like Conan was this sort of like seat to your pants, sort of you come up with something on the fly, you cobble together the props and costumes very quickly. I mean, FedEx Pulp, that must have taken 2 months to get that costume.
Yeah, that really, if you look, we didn't use a real box. We had an art department. Yeah, and so that took weeks.
Right.
A lot of people think we might have pulled that out of our asses at 4:20 p.m. But a lot of thought and deliberation went into that.
Clearly a very delicately fabricated costume, not just a FedEx box and a bathroom.
Yes, exactly. Well, yeah, I'm glad you appreciate that, because a lot of people do think a lot of the Conan show is just thrown together at the last minute, and that's of course the appearance we want to give, but couldn't be farther from the truth. Like your show.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Mike, I'm looking here on your IMDb, and you early on in Conan, you were the warm-up comic too. Am I remembering that right?
I was.
Yeah, but you also did stand up on the show sometimes.
Oh, I did stand up on the show once.
Okay.
And it was horrible.
Do you remember who the guests were that night?
I remember I had to follow an author named
is it Caleb
Carr?
Caleb Carr, but the lead guest.
Watto, George Lucas.
I mean, you're real close.
Rachel's mother. I don't know.
Yeah,
Steven Spielberg.
Billy D. Williams.
Oh my God! Really? I had no idea.
Look at that.
I love that. Given the choice, I remembered Caleb Carr.
Yes.
And my mom.
Did you grow up playing with Caleb Carr action figures, Mike?
Did I bring some, or do I have some?
Did you grow up playing with?
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely.
It's probably rooted in your childhood.
The whole Caleb Carr universe.
Yeah.
I mean, if you deep dive into it, and his holiday specials, he did an Arbor Day special that is still an annual tradition. An amazing artist.
Which was your favorite? Did you prefer the regular sort of version of Caleb Carr, or did you prefer Caleb Carr in skiff disguise?
Anything Caleb Carr. I'm such a huge fan that I will lap up anything Caleb Carr.
Now, Caleb Carr,
it doesn't matter what he's serving up.
I'm so glad this is what we're talking about. Caleb Carr, I'm looking at his Wikipedia page right now. He's given partial story credit for the Exorcist prequel.
Oh. Which one? Which one?
Both of them, Watto.
Wait, you're talking about not the TV. There was a TV show, The Exorcist.
Yeah, no, this is Watto. Do you know the story about the Exorcist prequel movies?
Yes, right. So Paul Schrader, the king of the Facebook statuses.
Yeah.
Writer of Taxi Driver. Got hired to do
writer-director of Hardcore. Writer-director of Hardcore.
Of course. Many credits. Man kicked out of many online poker games. Got hired to write and direct an Exorcist prequel in the early 2000s, starring Stellan Skarsgård. A very safe series of choices. Stellan Skarsgård, Paul Schrader, people who are not known for making transgressive films. Let them reboot one of your most valuable franchises. They make this movie. They deliver it to Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" They go, "Not only are you fired, we can't even reshoot this thing and resalvage it. Let's just put it on a shelf." And they just threw out the whole movie, rehired Stellan Skarsgård, and then got Rennie Harlin, director of Cutthroat Island. And they were like, "Can you just do it normal?" And he made then a whole different Exorcist prequel called Exorcist the Beginning. And then, like a year later, Warner Brothers was like, "We'll take it off the shelf." And then they released the Paul Schrader movie called Dominion, a prequel to The Exorcist. It's just a prequel. It's not the prequel, it's a prequel. So they both have the same
question.
Yeah,
they come from the same central story.
Yes. Question, Rachel.
Why? How do you know? Why are you a plethora of knowledge about this?
Watto's got the broken brain.
You know.
I think that's a great new way to go, because they always have several endings you can choose from often for a movie, and now I think multiple prequels is a new way to go.
We know a lot about prequels here. There you go.
Yeah, I think I'm not opposed to tinkering with a prequel. I like to tinker, but another one, like an alternate one, I don't know.
A whole different one.
This way lies madness.
I don't know.
I don't like the idea of a world where another filmmaker could do an alternate take of a prequel or a prequel trilogy. Because what if people like that? What if people like that prequel trilogy?
Well, George, are there any movies that you see where you would like, oh, you know what, if I could add some CGI to this,
I would
really bring it up a bit.
Can I say that? And I know this was a matter of budget and timing and everything, but every time there was a character on Conan, I was like, give me a week and we can render this in CGI and really make it look solid.
Right.
Really, like,
a week and 50 mil, and
it
we
just
can
broke
really.
my heart. These are so funny, but it's all practical effects.
Yes.
And I always felt like, if they gave Conan a few, 10, 20 million more per character, really start to do something that would be big laughs.
The story,
you're talking about $10 or $20 more dollars, right?
Right. Because millions. No, because it always felt like you were limited in terms of what you could do in the story of the masturbating bear by the technology.
Totally.
There's only so much you could realize on screen.
Yes. Once you invest in the character once, then you have the model. You are able to, you can put that character into all kinds of new digital environments, and it's evergreen. Whereas I would imagine a lot of those costumes from the 90s and the early 2000s are just gone. They're lost, right?
That is a good question. I don't know, if they just immediately protected them and sent them to the Museum of Broadcasting, or whether they were immediately just, as you're saying, tossed out.
Also, I mean, I like Haley Sen, but I don't feel like they necessarily like that. I don't feel like some of their stuff, some of the prints they have, it's not like, I don't feel like if you sent all the Conan costumes there, I think they're crammed in a cupboard someplace.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should send them to the Pally Center. Let's call up Adam. Let's get him back on.
I would love to send. He would put them on because I know he loves to wear costumes. He does.
Whenever he comes on your show, he's got a bunch of costumes.
He came on in his obese Batman once, and they're putting old late night bits on YouTube, so you could take them and work your magic. Just let me know.
Okay, I will. I'll let you know.
I think it's that sounds like a brush off, and that's cool too. I totally get it.
No, that's just how I talk. That's actually a green light. That's a green light.
Oh, that's a green light. Okay.
Yeah. He's very casual.
That's fantastic news.
I have an idea how to use this time productive.
Yes.
Because it's the after show, but come on, we're still on the clock. Okay?
Yes, of course.
Rachel,
yes.
Start of a big movie musical directed by Steven Spielberg.
That's
now,
true.
it was supposed to come out last year. Pandemic be damned, right? In a normal world, she would have done the whole circuit of late night talk shows already at this point.
Yeah.
But now we have extra time to prepare. And Conan, all the versions of the Conan show have always been great about if a guest is really game, you don't just have them do panel. You have them do a little sketch. You have them do secrets, right? You have them do some kind of thing. Can we come up with a good talk show bit for Rachel that she can use 10 months from now?
Let's see, Rachel. Let's go through your skills, Rachel. You can sing.
I can.
You're funny.
Maybe.
You can dance.
I can.
What else we got?
I can act.
That's
my job.
The big
technically only need 3.
Is there a surprising 5? Is there a surprising 5, like a wild card?
I mean, I can roller skate. I can play a bunch of instruments, and I can draw.
Got it. Roller skating.
Done.
Fast wheels. I love it.
All right. Now go.
So how do we build something around this?
Fastest of
how do we build something around this, Mike?
Yes.
This is
Let me spin my mustache.
Are you allowed to sing songs from West Side Story? Or
No, I am not for like 10 years.
What if
years.
they're parody songs? What if they're funny parody songs?
Or what's the opposite of a West Side Story? What's the public domain version of a West Side Story song? What is the if we think what are some songs?
You're talking about like
Sullivan.
Yeah.
I think Trial by Jury was kind of
East Edge Fable.
Right, East Side Tale is what I used to say.
Yeah.
So we've got East Side Novel in the chat. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
East Edge Poem.
Right.
East Edge Poem.
East Edge Poem. Period. Okay. Yes, I'm seeing it now.
Yeah.
So this is the answer. We do the bizarro versions.
Right.
Yes, and that's how we tie it into my DC career as well.
Yes.
Right. So let's say, for example, you don't want to live in America. You don't want to be in America.
I don't.
At all.
I don't.
It's maybe the least appealing thing in the world.
Look at her. She doesn't want to be in America.
No.
You flip this as well. Red dress, white sash. That's the Bizarro Maria.
Hey, you know a piece of music, and you know a piece of music that you could sing that's in the public domain, and famously the songs in West Side Story, they have lyrics, right? They all have words.
They do.
George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue is in the public domain.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll do it just like that. I think I'm studio ready.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, you're all set, and you're going to be on Conan 10 months from now, right? Watto?
Yeah. Come on now. Let's make the plan.
I just saw a really good suggestion in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because, of course, your character's name is Maria.
Maria, see.
Jackson Shirley said, what if this character's name is Wario?
Oh, like Wario and Mario.
Like Wario.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a mine.
And
Warrior's
like a spiky mustache. A mustache that looks very
right. Well, I was already twisting mine before.
Right.
Did you
and
see?
this one is, I'm gonna win.
Yes.
So, Mike, how do you take all of these things and make them funny?
Yes. Because,
all the things we just talked about?
Yeah.
I would hand that over to a segment producer, and they would take care of it.
Great. And then we're done.
Could we get like Schlansky to take a look at this?
You know, Jordan Schlansky, it would be a great guest on your show. I don't know if you've thought about that.
I think we've tried.
Oh, is that true?
I have many times said we should really try to get Schlansky.
I'll say hypothetically didn't get a response, but it's okay. That's not what we're here for today. We're not talking about that.
No, we won't talk about that at all. Forget Schlansky. I don't know who brought him up. Not me.
And here's my thought: you say segment producer, and my mind immediately goes to imagining some sort of an earthworm type creature who's segmented. So it would literally be that you hand it off to this
like
worm-like creature. Yeah.
Yes, we have creatures literally that produce the guest segments on the show.
Yeah.
There it is.
What has been the biggest? What's been the hardest thing for the crew as a whole adjusting to the last year?
That was. I mean, initially, it was. Yeah, I mean, we always like big challenges, but then usually the challenges are. You know, they're finite. Like you're moving. You're going to do a week of shows in a new city, and so that's a big kind of fun new inspiration. But this just, I think, got kind of once it bogged down. You don't know how it's going to end. So I think that's a big challenge creatively. Yeah. Just the repetition of everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
What made a good interview or sketch on the show? Like what, for Rachel, what would make a good talk show interview in your eyes?
Yeah.
What do you look for in
I'm going to take notes.
I think just being yourself and which you seem very good at doing. So
thank you very much.
Yeah. So, and then, everything, and you just tell stories about West Side story that would get you in trouble with the other cast members and even the director.
Yeah,
Right.
And then it would go viral.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it would be worth it.
I think so.
It's time to really give Rita Moreno what for. You know?
Oh my God, she's got it. She's had it coming for 90 some
No.
long time coming. She's gotten off way too easy up until this.
Yes. And
We're
she had to
supposed to
find
be
all those
so-
awards.
Yeah.
All five
We're
awards.
supposed to love her because she's good at everything and wins awards for decades and decades.
I think you're projecting, Watto. Did you want to be in America so bad?
I wanted to be in America.
You wanted to be in the purple dress. I get it.
Where are you, Watto? I feel like you're in an apartment in Queens.
No,
Your
no.
wife is yelling
Patrick,
at your kids to like be quiet while you do the show, or
I'm in
you're
Queens.
very rough.
You're in
very
Queens.
rough.
I'm in Queens, but look at this.
Patrick's in Queens. This is my corner of my apartment that is surrounded by Watto memorabilia.
Okay.
But I, of course, live in the Dakota. I live in the apartment
you live in
directly
Dakota.
below Yoko. So I
Yeah.
don't have, I'm several times divorced. I don't have a wife yelling at me, but sometimes Yoko hits the broomstick on the floor and goes, quiet down. And I go, it's Sunday.
So you're like an interstellar Larry King. You've had several wives. I didn't know you had many wives.
Many, too many.
Wow. Do you ever see Yoko?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I've been trying to be very respectful. We're very close, but
You're
you know,
neighbors. I mean, I just mean like in the elevator or the hallway, or
well, the pandemic, it's been different. I mean, we used to go over to each other's places for the nightcap every other night.
And talk about building. Are there a lot of building issues at the Dakota? Like
tons. That place is a fucking dump. It's a dump.
Yeah.
But I feel it's since I've been trying to be respectful of Yoko's health, but we have tin can radios. I threw a tin can up to her and she caught it. And
they've done so much renovation of that building. They've never updated the tin can system.
They never did. I had to make it myself like a peasant.
Wow.
I just had to carefully cut open 2 SpaghettiO cans, throw them up to Yoko Ono.
That's if they work, they work. You know, the walls in that building are famously 6 feet thick for some reason. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No, it's a Dakota true fact. Rachel, you have Dakota architectural detail facts like that for an interview. That's going to make it a home run.
Right. That's how I win over the audience.
Yeah. Watch me and don't do anything I do, and you're going to do incredibly well.
Here's the thing I've noticed a lot of famous people do on talk shows. They try to tell stories that are a little bit humbling, of like, do you ever get noticed on the street? And then it's a story of how they think you're someone else.
Yeah.
Yes. It's very, and you see right through it, right?
Right.
So they should just come on but then if you go the other way and brag, it's tough. I think the thing to do is stop doing talk shows. No one should do them.
Mike, I have 2 questions.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Should we wrap up?
What?
Mike says talk shows are dead.
No, I love this talk show.
Okay.
Would you sit in, you see the chair off to your, I believe to your right, that chair that's sitting way back there? Would you go sit in that for a second?
Well, yeah, I'd love to.
Same angle. The one angle on the other side, the one with the wooden back.
Yes.
Now, tell me about that art on the wall.
That is it's a blanket my son gave me.
That's a blanket art. Is that covering a screen?
It's covering a chalk drawing, protecting it from the sun.
Oh, protecting it like the way you would protect a Norman Rockwell painting if you had it by putting glass.
Oh my God! If I had a Norman Rockwell painting.
Well, it's a very artistic looking blanket. I actually thought that was a painting at first.
No, it's
actually a blanket art covering chalk art.
Yeah, exactly. It's
art. Why do I see a little reflection peeking out in the corner? Is the chalk art got glass in front of it?
It does. It's plexiglass. Here, I'll give you a little. There, that's some of it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wow. Very good.
You know what? This is a better look for me, far away from camera. You're a natural director.
I wanted to know if that was a rocker, and it is. It's a rocker, isn't it?
It's a rocking chair.
Go ahead and rock. Let's get some movement in the shot. I like that.
Okay, great, good. I like.
You're the first person, the first guest to be in a rocking chair on this show.
I'm excited.
Can I ask? More talk shows have rocking chairs for the guests.
I think that's a great idea.
Very folksy.
And Rachel, maybe take notes there that when you start doing talk shows, you should bring your own rocking chair.
No. Request a rocking chair.
Request. Demand
yes.
Don't bring your own. Don't bring your own. That will sense that as a weakness if you bring your own.
Right.
Right. Put it in your rider.
Put it in the rider.
Yeah.
Find the style of rocking chair you like, because they're very different. If this is what you like rocking chairs, and request it for the appearance.
Right, so that I can rock well.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh man.
Thank you.
Now, Mike, what do you think was the biggest difference in producing a show in New York versus LA?
Well, New York, you're in Rockefeller Center, which at the time, it was great. But in hindsight, you kind of like, oh, did you appreciate it enough?
Sure.
You know what? In LA at Warner Brothers, audiences had to jump through all these hoops to get to the studio, which I didn't love.
Yeah.
They have to line up and then walk in the sun half a mile through the studio to get to our sound stage, which doesn't seem. It seems antithetical to showbiz. Sure. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't decorate this office more. I have all this stuff.
I love it.
To hang up.
What's that pillow like on the other chair? Is that a comfy pillow or decorative?
Yeah, there's a coffee pillow. This is a highway sign.
Right, as you would.
Was that a beehive? Was that a beehive?
It's a beehive. It's from Utah.
That's the Honey Highway? Honey Highway?
Sure. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a movie. I got to meet the great director who did this movie.
I love it.
Harvey Korman.
Yeah.
From the Star Wars Holiday Special and Radioland Murder.
Let's see. Someone gave me this as a gift, Teddy Bear by Red Sovine.
Oh.
Have you listened to it?
It's still in the wrap.
Should I stay in the rocking chair? Or do you want me to leave? I can leave the room entirely. I feel like you were like, yeah, the rocking chair's good. And then what's on the other side of that door?
No. Unless you have something to offer, don't go through those doors. Okay. But if you ever want to sit in the other chair just to show what that feels like, I wouldn't say no to that.
Whatever you want me to do.
I wish I had more chairs.
Rachel, the reason we didn't ask you to do this is because you live in a black void of nothing.
I know.
Right. Limited on.
There's all that stuff on the table there, Mike.
There's let's see, a Mets banner.
There you go.
An old Mets banner and old copies of Desert Magazine from the 40s.
Desert
that my son bought.
Oh my God. I love the desert. I put the desert in almost all the Star Wars movies.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I put deserts in a bunch of Star Wars movies. I've always
Yes.
I think I probably have a few back issues of that. Maybe that helped. Maybe I may have borrowed some stuff from those.
That might have inspired you.
Yeah.
You shot in Death Valley, right? A few scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We did get some fan art I want to show. This is Rachel earlier.
Oh my God.
Someone lit up the lightsaber.
That's my dream.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And then we got one with...
As good as Clone Wars.
Yes. We did get one with Mike and Rachel. Let me pull that one up.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
This is you guys starring in East Side Poem.
Absolutely.
Wow. When I started today, I didn't see this coming.
This ain't no game, baby.
Ultimately, that's the goal of this show, is to get you see things you didn't see coming. And then here's one for Ethan Runt. It's
Waria.
Wow, that's
Waria.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah.
In fact, now I'm going to call Paul Tazwell and say I need to reshoot the whole movie in a yellow dress.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's a click of a button. Honestly,
I mean,
yeah.
oh yes, George, you would know. How much money do we need to redo that whole
First
thing?
of all, it's a white dress, so it's easy. That's just that you just you literally drag the paint bucket over and click.
We can call our buddy
fills up the
Steve
dress.
and just get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Steve's done that. Steve did that with the little girl in Schindler's List, where he made the red dress.
So
he
true.
knows how to make a dress.
Well, he can do it.
Yeah, he's an old. Easy.
We're gonna have to ADR dub Waria over the whole song of Maria.
That's easy.
That's okay. Fantastic. Well, as long as it's
you
easy.
can auto-tune it or something.
See,
that's what auto-tune is.
Yeah, auto-tune is everything. It's anything.
You'll still have to wait 10 years to sing that song as well.
Yes, I will. In fact, I will probably never sing it ever.
Right. You'll be okay with the wait.
Yeah.
But you can sing Rhapsody. Anybody who wants to can sing Rhapsody in Blue anytime they want for free. That's a freebie. Everybody, I want to hear more people singing that while they walk down the street, distanced from people during the pandemic.
This is also why George has always been such a big proponent of digital filmmaking, because you're able to bypass these issues. Like,
whoa,
right
I
now,
see what's happening.
You see, I did that in real time.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Technology is beautiful.
Beautiful.
I love technology.
It's the benefit of being CGI.
A lot of this technology is because of what you call the remasters, the special editions. We figured out a lot of this stuff. That was the sandbox that we were playing in. That's where Waria's yellow dress is going to be, because we figured it out. We figured out how to add Jabba into a scene where it was just a Scottish guy before.
Right. Yeah.
I should also mention, No, I was just going to say I'd be remiss, of course, we can show off all the fancy special effects we have at our disposal here on the George Lucas Talk Show, but it's important to use our platform responsibly. So once again, Watto is going to say trans rights.
As Watto should. Trans rights, absolutely.
Cannot miss an opportunity to make it very clear that Watto says trans.
There are
absolutely.
Mike, what were your favorite movies growing up?
Growing up, I loved, I like 2001, Space Odyssey.
So you like space movies? Interesting.
That was a great one. Attack of the Trippids.
Oh, great.
It sounds like Attack of the Clones. It's pretty close.
Yes, exactly.
Shazam 2 Attack of the Clones.
But not, and also involved outer space.
Yeah.
Tangentially.
Yeah.
Day of the Hunter. These are the kind of movies I watched with my parents. And I'm much older, so no. And of course I love Star Wars.
Of course, I wasn't even going to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
I assume that's why I was booked on this show. I've got
No, you were booked because you're a comedy legend.
Yeah, right. Look what I found. I found this.
Whoa!
That's right.
Good stuff.
This.
Look at that.
This, I think, technically, shouldn't it just be the head?
It should only be the dome.
He's all head. That's something I don't ever. R2D2's whole body is his head, including his legs and his feet. They're all head.
Wait, this is huge. You're revealing here for the first time that R2D2's legs are technically his head.
Yeah, R2D2's whole head.
Have there been arguments over whether it's the whole head or not?
Never until now.
Not with me, because I shut those arguments down immediately.
Okay. And arms coming out of the head, not a problem.
It's all part of the
and
head.
then this Watto one, which.
That's cool.
What a weirdo.
What a weirdo.
Rachel, Mike, you guys watch The Mandalorian?
Yes.
No, I have not watched Mandalorian.
It's about to win a Gold Globe for Best Drama, I think.
Come on,
it didn't. It lost. Right. It lost to The Crown. It lost to The Crown. It happened.
This is how I had to find out.
No. We don't know. We don't know.
No one
know
knows.
who won. 'Cause
No
this
one
could be-
knows.
I know.
No,
I've been
I don't-
watching.
We
The
don't
Crown
know.
won.
Watto, there could
they
be a
cut to the
moonlight.
Crown.
Could be a moonlight situation.
They,
It
okay,
could be.
maybe it's going to be a moonlight. All I'm saying
No,
is it was
There's
an
been a
hour.
mistake. The Mandalorian, you guys won. Get up here. This isn't a joke. Get up here.
Guys, it was Ted Lasso all along.
Lasso.
Lasso.
Also, Lasso lost.
Can you?
George, how do you feel about Mandalorian? Like, do you?
I love it. I love it. Favreau's great. He's so
Okay.
money. If John Favreau is so money and he doesn't even know it. But I have a fun thing that
Oh,
I
I
want to
think he
reveal. And this, Rachel, I don't know if you know this. Do you know about these characters? You like them?
Yes, I do. I enjoy
You want to
them
learn
very
something?
much.
Do you want to learn?
I
a
would
secret?
love to learn something.
All right, this is something about these characters. Viewers of this show already know this, but it's not something that's really going to be revealed until season 3. Okay, you ready?
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Twist. It's a twist. Get ready. Don't tell anybody what you're about to find out.
I won't
This is
tell anyone, and
exclusive.
definitely not everyone in the chat.
Top secret information.
I'm not gonna tell.
Uh.
They were lollipops all along.
They were secret lollies all along.
Maybe the Mandalorian was the lollipops we made all along.
I
Yeah.
thought those were small planets.
Nope.
That
Maybe.
too.
They could
That's
be.
poetic, Mike. That is poetic.
I mean, every lollipop. Have you ever eaten a lollipop, Mike?
I have, yes.
How do you know that you weren't destroying planets this whole time?
That's why I ate them.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a
That's
fast
a very
and sharp
Horton
response.
Hears a Who type.
Want to feel like a big man, huh, Mike?
I did.
Yeah, big.
You know what? It worked.
Mike is the Galactus of lollipops.
I ate a lollipop while watching 2001.
Crown. Hey, oh wait, hold on. It's Barb and Starb are on the Golden Globes right now.
Wait, I thought you.
Barb and Starb.
This is what's been happening all night. Like, normally they don't
Barb
watch
and Starb
anything.
are on. Hold on. Barb and Starb are on.
Okay.
Hold on.
I
I
understand.
haven't missed a beat all night. I've been throwing smokers for the
You
last
have.
3 hours. Don't act like me having the globes on in the background has caused any disruption. From the moment I found my TV remote, I've been multitasking like a motherfucker.
Barb and Starb.
I didn't even interrupt to tell people that the fucking Mandalorian lost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was so
But
kind of
Barb and Star are on
Barb
TV.
and Starb are on.
you.
Okay, well then I will ask Mike a question while you guys watch Barb and Starb. How often do people ask you a question about the show and you're like, I have no memory of that?
Like all the time, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Ask.
Funny.
No,
I knew who the
not
FedEx
set up
Pope
for-
was. So
Say that again?
I remembered who the FedEx Pope was. So that's
A classic. An
yeah.
absolute classic. Yeah.
It is a classic.
Can we get fan art for Barb and Starb Wars?
Barb and Star Wars.
Shouldn't it be Barb and Starb Warbs?
Yeah.
It should.
Barb and Starb, a Star Wars story. That's really good.
Yeah. Great note, Rachel.
Oh, that was from the chat, but I'll
There'll
gladly
probably
give
be a
credit.
sequel, and then are they going to have to go only visit cities that rhyme with star again?
What do we got?
Mustafar.
Yeah.
Barb
God,
and
that would be so
Starb
hot.
go to Mustafar.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
There you
"Ah,
go.
it's a volcano planet.
It's too
Or
hot.
planet's a volcano.
Nice.
The whole volcano's a planet.
Mike, I think the reason
Wait, that's Borat?
loves
I'm gonna mute George. George.
suddenly is all in on the globes.
I like that he's all in on the globes. You want to be back in
Hasn't
that
been
act?
the case up until this point.
That's
Wait, that can't
Mute
be
him
Borat
again.
and Bruno.
wait. George,
Mute him again.
okay, he's muted.
Okay.
Mike, this is
Yeah.
the question I think Patrick was trying to ask you.
Yes.
Is we have been doing this show online for
Yes.
just about a year now. We started
Right.
doing it online in May. Before that, we did it on stage at the
Right.
UCB for years, but
Yes.
only once a month.
Yes.
And I feel like we were able to very clearly define those different shows in our minds.
Right.
And now we're not 5 nights a week, but we are at least 4 hours a week
It's
every week.
unbelievable. Yeah.
And I don't remember any of it.
No.
I sometimes people will call back clips of things, and it's just like a sieve.
Right.
Hmm.
No, it's just stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Like you'll never remember that you muted George. That's going to be like a total surprise to you.
That's fine.
No. Yeah.
How often do you mute him on this show?
More often than you would assume.
Really?
He's a 76-year-old man. Sometimes
he is 76.
Sometimes he got.
Oh, he's still muted. Okay.
He's so happy about it.
It's almost like he's
How
yelling
did
at
I
you.
not know that Borat and Bruno and Abby Hoffman were all dating Ron Howard's daughter?
I'm muting it again. That's too much. Do you guys have someone on staff who will? I guess this is maybe a researcher's job or something. Who will say, "You guys already did that 25 years ago. Don't do that again."
It's very ad hoc. I mean, the writers you do it.
Yeah, sure.
Among ourselves.
This is the thing I think about a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be you could assume you do the show, it's done, maybe it will repeat at some point, but it's not like everyone's watching every episode, and if you do a similar bit twice, people are going to be up in arms. Now everything is cataloged, it's remembered, it's reviewable. Right. Do you feel like more pressure to try to differentiate every show?
Yeah, you mean from all the other shows,
and from your past episodes as well, like both.
Oh, right.
There's more talk shows on the air now than when you started, and also the entire history of Conan across 4 different permeations of Conan on late night are all easily viewable at all times. Most of it is very easy to rewatch.
Sure. For the most part, yeah. When you're just, it's like you guys, if you're doing a high volume, you try to do the best you can. But it's kind of like, you kind of like bailing water out of a boat. You're just trying to keep the ship going, and the 24 hours goes by. It's like putting out a daily newspaper. So, and within that, you try to keep things fresh and try to keep it different. But if something's popular, like we used to do a thing called Walker Texas Ranger lever. Yes, and you pull the lever, and we did that a few times, and it was people loved it, and
so good.
Yes, we had to just send 2 writers back down. It became like this yoke around their neck. They had to spend months just watching old. They had to just keep going back to the mines and coming up with more clips. Even though they hated it after a month of doing it. So
it became a burden.
It became a burden. Exactly. A nightmare.
Is a burden in the hand worth 2 in the bush?
Great question.
Good question, George.
Thank God you're unmuted.
Why would I ever be muted? This is my show.
Oh, of course.
They'd never mute you here.
Hypothetically muted. No one would actually ever.
They would never do
mute
that.
your microphone.
I just never know when you're doing a bit.
Oh.
Rachel, I know you have to go.
Yes.
But thank you for coming on. I do want to ask you before you leave.
Of course.
Why do you have to go? The reason you do this show on a Sunday night is because no one can ever leave. No one has.
Did I just stay trapped?
Are you a doctor in an emergency room or somewhere? Where do you have to go?
I mean, I'm a tired gal. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I did work out today. That's why I have to go.
Okay.
Rachel,
get in that key shape. Yes.
I don't think anyone has ever asked you to do this, but I want to ask you. You can't sing any West Side Story songs.
Yes, I can't.
You can't sing any Shazam 2 songs.
Right, because there are just so many and so many popular ones that everyone knows.
It's also hard to beat Shazam. No one beats Shazam.
No one beats Shazam, bro.
Can you sing your favorite Star Wars song for us?
My favorite Star... Oh my God, yeah. Is that good? Did I do good, guys?
That's great.
Yeah, John Williams twice. I had the very great pleasure of meeting him twice, and the one thing I was able to tell him was that Rey's theme is one of the greatest pieces, I think, in the entire Star Wars universe, and that is something I'm going to take with me to my grave.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for having me today, guys. It's been such a fun time. Mike, it was so nice to meet you.
It was very nice meeting you.
Oh
Rachel, I didn't have time to go grab
your movie now.
Oh, thanks.
I didn't have time to go. I was going to show you the picture disc I have of Rey's theme. Do you own a copy of this?
I don't.
You have to. We'll have to get you one.
Oh my gosh!
It really is. I actually think about that song that it is not just a great piece of Star Wars music by John. It's also a great piece of Christmas music. It's maybe one of the greatest pieces of Christmas music ever because it sounds like Christmas music.
You're so right, and I'm pretty sure I've tweeted that before.
Whoa!
I'm pretty sure I've tweeted like Rey's theme is a Christmas song. Argue with the wall. Like I'm pretty sure that's out there.
Come back on the show anytime you want. You're always welcome. And if you could send me a physical copy of that tweet, I would really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. And then I'll also like send you links to the tweets, and then you can rip it on the next live the way that Adam Pally rips all of the other physical tweets.
Yeah,
it'd be great.
Thank you. Rachel.
Thank you all so much for having me. I'll see you all soon.
See ya.
Bye now.
Bye. Patrick,
What?
why did you put Rachel?
I didn't. Rachel left on her own.
She wanted to stay. She was wide awake.
He didn't want to stay.
She's already being served papers by John Williams' attorneys.
That would be funny if that was how we got taken down finally, George.
Because Rachel sang John Williams music.
Johnny Dubs came at us with the knives out.
No, it would be the mouse. The mouse would come because the mouse owns it.
Yes.
No.
Well, this show is kind of subversive. Do you ever get blowback from Disney?
You know what? My only note is take out the word kinda and replace it with the word totally.
It's totally subversive. I didn't want to, say it straight out, but
you can do. We do whatever we want on this show.
Mm-hmm.
No one tells us what to do.
That's right.
And we break all the rules.
All the rules.
That's rule number 1. We break all the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even do that.
Mike, if you had to make a show that would break rules, what would that be? I know that's a very vague, big question, but I'm giving you the chance to think of a show that can break some rules.
I think if like Conan and Andy got real guns and went in and robbed a bank and interviewed the teller while they were getting money, I think that's rule breaking.
Yeah,
literally law breaking.
Yeah,
and I think I think it would be compelling to watch.
It'd be good comedy, yeah.
And it could, and also 4 years later, it would be an HBO Max documentary, true crime documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So you're generating
2 shows.
all this content from one bank robbery.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien can't stop robbing banks. That's the name of the documentary. Yeah,
and then it might have a short run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you've ever really wanted to do on a show and you've proposed it multiple times and you've realized that no one will ever let you do it?
Yes.
Is it something you're comfortable revealing?
Yes.
Or is that the death of hope? To mention it now, would that be like giving up?
I can, when I tell you what the idea is, you'll understand the hope died a while ago.
Oh, okay.
Rebellion to built on hope.
Doing a show at Shea Stadium. But
feels like that could have been doable.
But for 199 people spread out in the stadium.
But the concept of that, well, you can do that right now in another stadium, though. Like that would be the safest.
It had to be Shea. It wouldn't work. Stadium. No, you could do it in another one.
Well, now it wouldn't be as funny because they'd be like, "What a responsible thing to do."
Exactly. Everything's
everyone. The pandemic sort of stole your joke in a way.
It's
like, guess what? 20% capacity or whatever. You know,
the George Chase Stadium parking lot now.
Right. Exactly. Speaking of COVID, Watto, do you have to get vaccinated, or are you impervious to COVID?
Great question. Originally, we thought that Watto was impervious to COVID because he's CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That was our canon. And then we sort of decided that it didn't really feel funny anymore. So I now feel like Watto needs to be vaccinated, but it's not going to happen for a while.
Okay. And are you cool?
I tried to list gambling addiction as a pre-existing condition, and it didn't get me anywhere.
Yeah. The thing is, up to now, based on what we know about the COVID-19 virus, it's not the kind of virus that would affect a hard drive on a computer. Because there are viruses that will affect data on a hard drive.
Right.
But Mike, there's so many variants now that we don't know that this virus couldn't mutate into the kind that doesn't impact biological organisms, but actually affects data. And it's terrifying to think about it, Mike, because so much of our data is in the cloud. And if it would mutate and get into the cloud, my goodness, what we would lose.
My goodness, what we would lose.
My goodness, what we would lose.
To think of what
we almost lost
Watto. Be vulnerable.
We almost lost Watto once. It was a very dramatic arc on this show that was really compelling, where the computer that Watto was on overheated, and the only reason Watto is still here is because George had the backup file on a USB drive.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that is dramatic.
You want to see the USB drive, Mike?
Yes, I'd love to.
You got to put a problematic character on a problematic USB drive. That's how it works.
That is a problematic piece of equipment you've got there. But,
I mean, game recognized game. Watto's pretty problematic himself.
Mike probably doesn't want to talk about this because Conan, TBS, HBO Max, Looney Tunes. It's a whole part of the same family. We got to be careful.
Yeah.
Something we don't need to be careful about. Conan Mustafar. So good. It's so good.
That's amazing. Everywhere. Barb and Starb are so funny.
That's a funny movie.
I'm so glad that they were on the Globes.
Yeah.
Really, you weren't joking before when you said the Mandalorian lost to The Crown.
Mandalorian lost to The Crown, and Ted Lasso, I'm forgetting what it lost to, but it lost to a different comedy show. Sudeikis won.
Ted Lasso himself won.
Yes.
But that might be all that you get. Yeah.
Mike, hang on. I'm going to take George and Watto off really quick. Hang on.
Yes.
One of the bits that was set up like, hi, how are you? It's so good to talk to you. Just,
nice
to talk to you. One of the bits that was set up like 3 hours ago was that George and Watto wanted to become Ted Lasso influencers. Because they've been seeing a lot of people have been getting mailed screeners and like tea and coffee mugs, and they didn't get those, and they want them now. Adam Pally was here earlier. He got biscuits sent to him, and he got a mug sent to him, and George and Watto were mad about it. So that's why.
It might be all that you get. Boom, boom. Yeah, I guess this might work.
We're gonna meet him again.
Did you guys all watch Ted Lasso? You watched the show?
Loved it. We want to be seen as Ted Lasso influencers.
Yeah, we're
not two of the biggest names in Hollywood. We love the show. We've been lassoed.
Yes.
And we want them to repay us in kind.
Can we get some fan art of Last Solo, a Star Wars story where it's Ted Lasso in the Star Wars universe?
The thing is, Ted Lasso already won the award. It's already a success. I don't know what influence you're expecting to do at this point.
Well, they lost the big one though, so you want to get that. You want to get that.
Right.
You want to keep it going.
Emmys aren't until next year. Screen Actors Guild has not happened yet. This is just the beginning of
There's
the
a lot of
award
influence.
Who beat them for Big Show? Who beat them for show?
Who beat them for Big Show?
I'm trying to remember. What's the other big comedy that's a big deal?
Watto doesn't remember anything anymore.
Who won?
Watto
Say it in the comments. Say it in the comments. Who beat Ted Lasso the show?
Someone remind me. I saw it happen, and I already can't fucking remember.
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek.
Well, they won't be around. They won't be around.
They won't be around.
So
they won't be around.
That's why you send us the mug. That's why you send us
the mug.
And the tweets, the physical copy of the tweets. I want that physical tweet. To own a tweet. Mike, do you own any tweets?
Do you own any tweets?
Physical copies of a tweet?
I don't. I mean, I've never thought to print them out, but maybe I should start doing that.
Physical media still has value. The kids don't think so, but it does have value.
Because you can delete a tweet. You can delete a tweet, but if you have a physical copy of the tweet, then you
can't delete that.
Well, you can. I mean, if your house burns down, that tweet will burn up if it's on paper. But that's why you.
Well,
that's why you keep it behind glass. That's why you have a copy and you keep it on behind glass.
Exactly.
That's why
he's got a safe, George. George, he has a safe. You don't ever think about safes. He has a safe.
Yeah. You must have safes. You have all this.
Yeah, tons of
putting a museum together.
You have a safe, Mike?
I don't have a safe.
Gotta get a safe.
George, he just brought up the museum and you didn't even acknowledge it.
You didn't even acknowledge it. What happened?
Nobody knows about the museum, and then someone finally brings up the museum, and you didn't even say anything.
It's been acknowledged. Last week, someone brought it up.
Yeah.
Oh.
There he is. There he is.
Hey, Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
You're an influencer.
All that you wear. Watto, can you lean it over so that we just get the asso part and get the L out?
Yep. Let me work on it. Hold on.
Just move it over.
No, your body.
Move the front of your body. No, it has to be on your ass. No.
It is on my ass.
Only a little bit. I want the whole thing on your ass. Part of it's on your just the angle. You're not going to be able to see it as well. Move your front.
This is more difficult than you think it is.
I'm not saying this is easy. If you can get the L hidden in that, no, perfect.
That's
it.
There
you
go. There it is.
And I like the way it almost looks like an ass crack over the E.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal.
Okay, turn around, Watto.
Okay, Watto.
Good job. You did a good job.
Mike, what do you know about
another influencer?
What do you know about the museum, Mike?
You've heard about I know it's of course. I mean, there was a giant debate about what city would get it. It was kind of like, where is Amazon going to move their headquarters to? I think it was on a level with that in terms of
big time.
Interest by the public and interest by municipalities. And you threw everyone. It was quite a surprise. It was a great plot twist.
Are you excited that Los Angeles finally landed the museum?
Oh, I thought it was going to Chicago.
No, San Francisco said no. Chicago said yes. Then they said no.
It's all yours, buddy.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's your backyard.
It's going in whereabouts in Los Angeles?
Going near.
Oh boy, that's a lot of pressure.
Which stadium is it, Watto? I always get it wrong.
Ask Watto what stadium it is.
Is it the Coliseum? Is that right?
Yeah.
You ask Watto about Exorcist prequels, he can tell you. Don't ask Watto what stadium is located where. Who do you think I am? Ted Lasso!
There you go. There it is, Mike.
Look at that, Mike.
This is what's coming, incoming.
Your hometown. It's your hometown. It's your hometown. It's your hometown.
Mike, what do you think?
Oh my God. Why is it shaped like a sneaker insole?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Because we wanted to. Because we have a low carbon footprint.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Literally,
we wanted to leave a big footprint on the culture of LA while being responsibly green and having a low carbon footprint for the future.
Why are you putting it near a jock palace? Is that like kind of a geek? Are you just taking it to them? I don't understand why you're putting it near a house.
He's trying to big dog them. He's trying to big dog them, Mike. You got to show up.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. You're really dwarfing that stadium that holds 100,000 people.
That stadium look tiny. All those jocks are going to have to start becoming art scholars, art fans,
right?
Of the art.
So where are all the Pez dispensers going to be? Are they going to be in the heel of that museum, or
it's going to change? It's going to change all the time. That the exhibits are going to be constantly shifting.
You should tell Mike what's mostly going to be in there, though.
No, there's going to be a lot of different things. We've got a lot of collection of things that have to do with Black cinema. There's also going to be a lot of Norman Rockwell paintings, a lot of movie posters, a lot of, but it's like there's going to be.
You really do. I'm sorry. Oh. Oh wow.
This is a Norman Rockwell.
Yeah.
Oh.
You've heard of Norman Rockwell. You sat in the chair and you rocked well earlier in the show.
Of course. He lived in Western Massachusetts.
You know who
I
this
don't.
is?
I don't know his ceramic work. I thought he did
Well,
mostly
it's painting.
canvas.
He didn't make the plates, but the
Right.
art on the plates. Do you know who
Yes.
this guy is, Mike?
That looks like a young Ronald Reagan.
What would you call this character if you had to name him?
This was a Conan character, and he
And
came
think-
out.
And think on the level of a lot of Conan character names. Like, don't overthink
Right.
it. It's a very
Right.
simple.
Okay. Yeah, I won't overthink it.
Think
Young
laterally
FedEx
to like
Post.
prep.
young
No,
FedEx.
think like preparation aid for Raymond. You look at that character and you go, that's what he has to be named.
Yeah.
Margarine Moe.
Pretty close.
Whoa.
A guy who thinks he's
Whoa.
eating margarine, and they always give him butter, and he flips out.
Butter boy.
Oh, Butter Boy. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You need to
Yeah,
you need to be a little less creative.
I'm
true,
going to
what else
say
is true?
I'm going to go with Butter Girl.
Yeah.
Points
You're
on
smart.
the board. Points
You're
on the
getting
board.
it.
Oh, wait,
Oh
Mike,
my god.
if you're
Oh
looking,
my
at,
god.
you might
I'm
not
so
have had
nervous.
you might not
I'm
have had
so
a by looking at it. You might need to see it a little bit bigger, like if she was on like a tray. You know.
Oh wow.
Now you really
I-
see.
Norman Rockwell did art for bars. This is amazing.
Well, maybe the Rockwell of it all is sort of distracting you. Maybe if it was in a slightly different art style, like a Baroque art style.
Baroque, did you say?
Yeah, like if you saw a Baroque Butter Girl.
Yes, I'd love to see that. But I doubt such a thing would ever exist. There's no way.
Patrick, this is you're one of them.
I feel someone's cued, not me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that Baroque. That's kind of primitive American style.
Should we say it's folk Butter Girl?
Yes,
Sure.
I would say folk butter girl, but Baroque, there'd be Pootie and all sort of clouds and
Mhm.
and
Well,
a lot
I
of
guess I was
guilt.
I'm sorry, I was sort of distracted. My eyes were hurt by the
Yes.
reflection
Watto.
of the bronze.
How could you have been distracted by what?
The bronze.
Oh wow! Oh
The
wow!
bronze.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Mhm.
Uh,
What? Whoa. Okay.
it's the closest thing I had was a broken smoke detector.
It's a shame.
That's
You know,
amazing. Why do
I
you?
look at this, Mike, and it's like I like that this is in like a slight 3D relief, but it makes me wish there was a fully three-dimensional version of Butter Girl.
Oh, that would be fantastic. But there's no way
No way.
No.
something like that could possibly exist. Oh my god!
And look, who's this new character?
Butter Dog.
Oh! So that dog was in all was cut out of all the other pieces.
Cut
No,
out.
that dog is the
poor
Scrappy Doo of the Butter universe.
The dog is the special edition. It's the part you couldn't see before.
That's fantastic.
And the thing is, it makes you wonder.
And all that's going into the museum. That's going to fill
That's
something.
a wing.
museum. Is Norman Rockwell knockoff?
Yeah.
Well, there's a Rockwell wing and there's a Butter wing.
I have a sculpture.
Yeah.
This is a sculpture.
Whoa.
This is Jesus as a sumo wrestler.
Wow. That's great.
Now, where did you get
I don't
that?
know.
Wow.
We had it made,
Sure.
and then
That's
there used to be. They make these Christian statues of Jesus with kids helping them with sports.
Mhm.
We found in a catalog, and we started making our own knockoffs.
These are
Here's
great.
another one. This is Jesus being picked last in gym class.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's upset. He's totally rejected.
Even
we,
the Green
and we
Lantern kid gets picked before him.
Wow, you have good eyes.
Thank you.
You saw that immediately. Oh, and we had other ones like him shooting, playing basketball and computer solitaire. But then we got all this hate mail from one state, and we had to stop doing it because they said it was
which
making
state? Alabama or Mississippi?
It's a
Not
really.
a secret.
It's gonna. Your next guess will be this state. Oh, it's such a big state.
Oh. George,
Would
Texas.
you say, in fact, that everything's bigger than that state?
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
No, we just got all this anti Jesus figure. Yeah, I thought those were pretty innocuous.
They are great, but I can see in Texas people being mad. They're like, no, he'd be picked first and he'd win the game. And
Right. He'd be the captain, right?
Yeah.
He's the captain of all of us.
Boy, wait till those guys figure out what happened to Jesus.
Oh, no.
They're not going to be too happy.
No.
What's great? That's narrative art, Mike. That's what the museum is about. It's art that tells a story.
Okay, I'll donate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put them up in the museum. I look forward to seeing some fan art where Jesus finally gets incorporated into the world of Butterboy and Buttergirl, and I can see them having all
That would
kinds
be
of
great.
adventures together. Because I would imagine
Jesus will sit at the right side of the dog.
would be great. Yeah, I'm sure Jesus would love some butter.
Hang on, Butter Girl and Butter Dog must have been at the Last Supper.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, Butter Dog was under
What
the
if that was
table
free?
looking for.
It would be great to get some Last Supper art where everyone gets replaced by Butterboy, Buttergirl, Butter Dog, the cornflake kids.
Oh,
and-
what about Peanut Butter Boy, Peanut
Peanut
Butter
Butter Boy.
Girl,
Yes, they
the
would.
villains,
They would be the Judases of the Last Supper.
the villains.
They're arguing about who gets to betray Jesus. They're like, I
Absolutely.
have dibs on the money, on the silver.
Yes.
Right.
I think
And
it
she's
was.
like, I said, it was my idea. You're ripping me off.
Now, is he called, in our version, is he called Butter Jesus or Butter Christ?
Butter
He's called Butter Crust.
crust.
I-
Jesus crust.
Mike, I have a question.
And he's friends.
should be
with
fan.
Mary-
I hope
he's
someone's
friends with
working on-
Mary Margarine.
Yes, Mary
Crust.
Margarine, and Jesus Crust. Please make the fan art.
Let's get some
Mike.
Mary Margarine, the prostitute, and Jesus crust.
I like that you feel the need to keep restating that Mary Margarine is a prostitute.
No,
You've restated the prostitute part 3
well,
times.
because I like the fact that Jesus is friends with the sex
Well,
worker.
you-
There's something to that.
Mhm.
Now, Mike, here's the thing. You're here on a very exciting night
Right.
because
I think that'll be popular in Texas.
very
Yeah.
popular. Send letters.
We have not gotten enough complaints. It's time.
Right. Well, if we're gonna offend Texas, this is a good time because they won't see the show.
Okay.
We rang the bell I rang the bell earlier, and we only ring the butter bell when we have something new to introduce. I already rang it. I already rang it earlier.
No, I just was reminding
Yes.
the butter.
Because I have something very
Right.
exciting to introduce to the world.
Well, also, Watto doesn't remember that you did it earlier.
Yeah.
But wait a second, Mike. George raises a good point, which is the
Yes.
bell usually announces a new addition to the butter universe. There has not been a new addition in quite some time. George is holding a hot hand tonight.
Oh, this is.
Oh yeah, we have to play
What
our
I
Oh,
one.
my God.
What I like, oh yeah, gotta play the butter merch bumper.
The butter bump.
Is it playing? No. There we
It's played, yes. Okay.
go. Didn't play for me. There
All
we go.
right, didn't play for me. Now I'm very excited because Patrick and Watto have no idea what this is.
Mm-mm.
And the thing is,
Well, I
sometimes
don't either.
sometimes they've questioned before.
Mike doesn't either, George.
They've questioned this is an old item I brought out, and they got very angry with me because I believe this is Butterboy and Buttergirl as older people, and they're lovers. They're lovers by this point. They kiss under the mistletoe.
The only issue there is their dress seems like it's from an earlier period, actually pre-Butterboy and Buttergirl.
I agree.
I don't think it could be.
I agree.
Thank
I
you. Mike.
agree.
Well,
Not
that is
canon.
all
Legend.
answered. That is all. But also, Jesus also dresses in ways that are not reflective of the period. I say they became quite old-fashioned in their old age. They started to harken back to an earlier era. But that's neither here nor there.
Oh, maybe that was Halloween. That
Halloween. Yes, famously a Halloween.
And they were dressed up.
A Halloween smooch under the mistletoe. What could be more? It's Christmas on Halloween.
I didn't see the mistletoe.
I actually think it works perfectly. What could be more Halloween-y than a Christmas smooch under the mistletoe? And here we have it. I'm a Rockwell character doll.
Oh no.
It's gonna be the fucking
It's Nell. It's Nell. And look who Nell is friends with.
Hey, so you're a
cow.
Are you arguing?
Am I arguing what?
Watto, I think
the
you're
cow, and that got made.
What are you saying?
I can't hear.
His mic died, maybe, Watto?
Mic died, Watto?
Your headphones? Great.
All right, try to communicate it non-verbally. Your question.
Do you want me to ask? I think I know what you're going to ask. I think he's saying Nell is friends with the cow, and the cow produced the milk, which makes the butter, which goes on.
This could be. This is where the saga begins. Perhaps this could be Nell. Of course, we've all seen the movie Nell.
Mm-hmm.
This could be Jodie Foster's character. Very wild.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But undoubtedly, that cow, that is the cow that makes the butter.
Wow, George.
No question about it.
Yeah, you're right.
No
You're right.
Yeah, Nell is a little disheveled. That's Nell fan art. And look,
So is there Butterboy? Does Butterboy ever meet? Wow, she's pregnant.
Mike, you can't
be the mother. She could be the mother of twins. She could be the mother of Butterboy and Buttergirl. She could be the butter mommy. Is Nell the butter mommy? I think so.
When I asked Mike to come do this show, I don't think either of us assumed that he would hear anyone say the butter mommy.
Mike, tell the truth. Did you anticipate it?
You know, the word butter was swimming around in my head like a few hours ago, but not butter mommy. No way.
Oh.
No.
Life is full of surprises, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
It's amazing. But I really would like to see that painting of the Last Supper with all these Norman Rockwell characters. And all of them. I would like it if 11 or 12 of the apostles, no, 11 of them were going to betray Jesus, and they're all fighting over the right to betray him, and only one stuck by him.
That's right. Well,
I think it would make the Bible much more interesting.
Which one sticks by? Let's decide which one sticks by.
Ted Lasso.
Yes, exactly.
Ted Lasso is the one who would not betray Jesus, but all of the Butterverse characters proper.
Right.
And if you're
Ted
running out of
Jesus
and if you're running out of characters and you add, feel free to just draw from the other characters in the George Lucas talk show canon. You could Belushi B, that could be one of them.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's got a lot. He's got a lot of characters.
We got a lot of characters. So.
The Belushi B is part of the. I did not know that was part of your universe.
Big time, big part.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cornerstone.
Big time. Ronnie, absolutely.
It predated Star Wars.
All of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
It did. Yeah, the Belushi Bee was there before we ever got any Star Wars stuff out.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of the bees on SNL?
Well, people were told not to be fans of them. Like they deliberately said it was terrible. So I guess the answer is no. I followed orders and was not a fan of the bees.
But
were you?
Yeah, I thought they were very funny when they would all dress as bees.
I
remember when season 2 started thinking something's changed.
Yeah. Well, Chevy Chase was gone.
Chevy's gone, but also where are those bees? And
the bees.
Yeah, because when the bees, famously in real life, when the bees start to disappear, it is a concern for everyone. So I sort of felt like within the world of comedy, this is very troubling. If all the bees are gone, how will they make new comedy? But they did it.
They did. And maybe it was they were just trying to tell us all about an early climate change warning.
It was maybe the first warning we had, truly.
Right. Now, Chevy Chase, speaking of Chevy Chase, was such a big movie star.
Yeah.
The same time you were cranking up Star Wars, were you ever thinking of using him at all?
I mean, there was, if you could have reined in some of his impulses, early Chevy would not have been a bad choice for Han Solo. You know, I could see a version of it where he would have that arrogance. Like if you imagine, say, the attitude that Chevy had when he played Fletch, I could imagine that Chevy swaggering around the cantina. But
absolutely.
But one thing I knew about Han was I didn't want him falling down all the time.
Right.
And that was a big part of Chevy's act at that point. And I thought he's going to be constantly falling down. And that's more of a Jar Jar.
You thought he'd have a writer for that in his movies.
I could see Chevy as Jar Jar because Jar Jar is more inclined to fall down. So that kind of pratfall comedy. And also like Chevy's not afraid to push those boundaries in terms of the taste.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now you guys are saying that there is an episode of Family Guy. It's the Star Wars episode of Family Guy called Blue Harvest. And if you scroll down a little bit, see who the guest appearances are?
Yeah, Chevy is in there.
Look at that.
And Rush Limbaugh.
The big two.
The big
two. Wow. And Helen Reddy.
And Mick from Simply Red.
Yeah. Yes, I believe there is a point where they're in the X-Wings going to the Death Star, and they do the Red 5 standing by, Red 3 standing by, and then it gets to Helen Reddy standing by, Simply Red standing by. I think that is the joke, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But George, you were going through all these characters. Now, Watto's not here, and I'm sad that he's going to miss this, but you were showing Mike all these characters that we have on the show, and I think I want to introduce a new character to the show.
Let's do it.
I was trying to fix my ring light. What's this new character?
George, who was the one that you showed us? Who was the one that you showed us?
The Butter Mommy?
No, the one that Mike was surprised was a part of our universe.
Oh,
Belushi B. Belushi B.
Yeah.
I had no problem with Butterboy.
Actually, not a bad name. Belushi B Theater, not a bad name for people if you're starting up new on the other side of the pandemic. Belushi B Theater.
And Belushi B East.
Belushi B East, Belushi B Hell's Kitchen.
Who do we have?
Patrick, no. Patrick, are you now going? First of all, are you making her do a Hail Hitler salute?
No. He's pointing.
It's below the horizon.
It looked like a Heil Hitler salute. Don't
raise that arm,
Patrick.
That arm is too straight, Patrick. Don't raise the arm without the elbow bend.
Hey, George. Now isn't that special edition?
Mute him. Is he gonna try to argue, Tommy Westphal style, that because Belushi B is part of the universe, the arm fell off?
Now it's part of the universe. Now
he's part of the universe.
Don't retouch the arm. Don't retouch the arm. Now it is. Now I am.
Now he's part of the universe.
You can never put the arm back on.
Broken church lady. Welcome to the Butter.
Oh, it stinks that it's the arm that doesn't do that.
I thought it was Rachel Maddow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It could be Maddow. It's got the little Maddow tilted there.
Why do you hate the church?
Why do you hate the church lady, Watto?
I don't hate the church lady.
Is there a history with that doll?
No. If I can explain myself, Mike, we've worked very hard to maintain quality control over the Butter Cinematic Universe. We don't want to blow this thing out too big.
Okay.
And I think Patrick sensed the vulnerability in the inclusion of Belushi B to turn this into a Tommy Westphal universe type thing and say, now any SNL character counts.
No.
My opposition is not to Church Lady. My opposition is to who else is Patrick going to try to ram through if we let Church Lady in? That's a slippery slope.
I also, my concern is I question whether or not Patrick was doing that of his own accord. I fear that.
Who do you think it could have been, George?
Oh, I don't know. Could it be Satan?
But now that you've accepted the missing arm, he's just going to bring more characters with limbs missing, and you'll have.
Look, that's not going to work every time, but we're saying you have to modify the character. You have to make it proprietary.
The reason why we felt comfortable bringing Belushi.
Oh, look who's here!
The reason I felt comfortable bringing Belushi B into the GLTS universe is because this is a character that SNL wants nothing to do with.
Done.
What are you doing, Patrick?
So you think because Mike introduced him, you get to introduce him too? Mike, we loved it when you did it. But Patrick, you are not a guest.
Also, Patrick.
Different rules.
Let's get back to Star Wars.
Yeah.
We loved it when Mike did it. There we go.
There are witches in the Star Wars universe.
Of course. I just wanted to show how deep my knowledge went.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Well, now Patrick's going to go get his Halloween candy and dump it all over his couch to show us like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, and then tell us that every piece of candy is a character now. Oh, Kit Kat's a character.
Actually, not a bad idea for a character.
Not a bad idea. Hold on, wait a second. Let me go get some characters.
Well, now, boy, this must really feel like home to you, right, Mike? We're just introducing all kinds of characters.
Yes, this is fantastic. You know, we did some Star Wars characters on our show. I don't know if you ever knew that. We did Chewbacca stuck in a glory hole.
Yeah.
Which is very popular. They wouldn't let us say the word glory hole though.
Really?
We had to beep it, so you just had to guess.
You have to guess.
But you saw it. It was a visual thing, right?
Could you have, if you would you have been allowed, if you weren't allowed to say glory hole, because obviously you could say the word glory and you can say the word hole. You can even book the band Hole on the show as a musical guest.
Yes.
Right? But suddenly you can't say glory hole.
Hope not as a musical guest. Right.
Would you have been allowed to say a very good hole?
Mm.
You know what? We did not. We were very literal about it and fought with the censor for the term glory hole. We did not think that's a great lateral move. I wish we had been able to consult you at the time.
Because it sounds worse if you know what it means. It actually sounds worse to say like Chewbacca stuck in a very good hole. That sounds terribly graphic. But would you have been allowed to?
That sounds pretty like, doesn't sound bad at all. I wish we could go back. Maybe that's a sketch. We could go back. You can CGI it, and we can also change the audio.
Yeah,
and fix it for future generations. Yes, Watto.
I forgot that this fucking light.
We were doing a show.
I forgot that we had already introduced these characters back on Halawato. The Hershey's Fangs.
Yeah. This is a new character.
No, these are old. We established them back in Halawato. And the Witch's Brew Kitkat.
Yeah.
These are characters.
Here are some new characters.
Did you go out to a store to buy those now?
Yeah, I ran so fast.
Okay.
The Lemon Crisp Kitkat.
Very good. Where is that character from?
Down in Georgia.
Ooh, that little Georgia accent.
Here, home of the delicious Georgia lemons. Oh, you want to try my Lemon Crisp Kit Kat? I'm Lemon Crisp Kit Kat.
Very good.
And then here's the new character. Apple Pie Kit Kat.
What could be more American than Apple Pie Kit Kat?
Hey, don't you know I'm from down in New Orleans? I'm the Apple Pie Kit Kat, home of the famous New Orleans apple pie.
The Big Easy.
The Big Easy.
Wow.
That's where you can find me. the apple pie KitKat.
Oh, give me a break. Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat apple pie limited edition bar.
These are big new characters.
Slash characters.
Yeah.
Character.
Those are great characters.
Thank you. I think there's a lot of comedic potential for these characters.
Yes.
I do want to bring up, Watto, we didn't bring this up earlier. I want to remind everyone there's a button down below where you can support the show. It helps go to the people behind the scenes who help out and everything. Keeps the lights on, keeps the show going. Mike, I'm sorry we're doing this while you're here. We just forgot to do it earlier.
Oh, that's fine.
If you guys want to donate a few bucks. Donate $5, $6, $4, $3, whatever you want. It's very helpful.
And it will help because we are, you say it keeps the lights on. We're actually having trouble keeping the lights on.
I'm trying so hard here. Look, if I hold it, it's good. And then if I let go, it turns off.
Yeah.
Right. How many dollars would it
take
for you to hold?
Don't you have the access to large sums of money, or is it like a Britney Spears thing?
No, it's not like I'm not in. It's just that my money is being. I can't blow money on my talk show, this is a vanity project. This is. I give my money to education.
Clearly.
I give my money to charity. I give my money to film restoration. It's tied up. My money's tied up. And putting it, the priority has to be the museum and getting that open post pandemic. And so we raise money for charity, and we ask for, it doesn't take a lot of money to run the show, but it's actually so little money that it would be hard for me to. This is hard to explain, but for tax reasons, it's actually more expensive for me to give as little money as we need than it would for me to give $1 million.
That totally makes sense to me. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's just, it's a weird thing about the way the system works. The very small amount of money that it would take to make the show a little bit better is actually so small that it's better for me to give $1 million to education than it would be to fund this show properly.
George, I'm glad you finally explained why you cannot support Planet Scum and why the onus is on our viewers.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. It does feel like now that you have made that clear to Mike, you should probably fill him in on another area that might be confusing him. What is the format of this show?
Right. Because, Conan's format has changed at various points. It has. Even recently, it's as was necessary. Our original format for the show was that we would do the show once a month at midnight at an in-person theater for people from anywhere from 40 to 150 or so people. And that was the format.
At the UCB.
That used to be.
UCB. And then
used to be at UCB.
Would you fly in from Northern California to do that?
And
that's quite a commitment.
The show in New York.
Yeah.
And then we eventually we did it in various theaters and time slots. At the end of our run at UCB, when the pandemic hit, we were a Friday at 7:30 show. We would start, and we'd be done at 8:30. It was a tight show, and then the pandemic hit, and our first show back was a charity Star Wars Day marathon that went for over 31 hours.
Wow! Oh, and you watched every movie.
We watched all of the Star Wars movies, including we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ewok movie.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah, we did the holiday special. We did everything, and it was 31 hours. And I said, guys, we cannot do this again next week. It's too long.
Can't do 30 hours a week.
No.
This is the wrong format for the show.
Could.
It can't be a 31-hour show.
Yeah.
So then we started doing these weekly charity marathons. We would watch a season of Arliss and raise money for different causes and charities. Because Bobby Wool is a friend of the show. And it was suggested Bobby Wool is a friend of the show. He's a friend of the show.
Oh, he's been on the show. Maybe he's the 4th most frequent on-camera personality on this show.
Mike, I
Number
believe.
4.
Hang on. Realistically, let me think of how many times he's been on. I believe he has been on in person 12 times.
12 times.
Over the last year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the first
show
with
God.
Bobby. You can do the whole song to it if you wanted to spoof it.
Yeah. No, we're not exaggerating when we say Bobby Wool is a good friend.
Yeah. but
of watto.
But when we did all 7 seasons of Arliss, and we do different.
And how many seasons of Arliss were there?
All 7. We did all 7.
Oh.
And then and then we're doing and then we did a 1610 charity one. We watched that show.
Yeah.
And then we said, let's do short shows because these shows are too long. We're watching full seasons of TV shows for charity. Let's do some non-charity shows that are just short little shows.
The little show, the tiny little bite-sized shows.
The format of our short shows is that we will be
That's smart.
At least one. Each of our short shows will be at least 1 minute longer than Martin Scorsese's The Irishman.
Just a little Irish.
Thank God.
Just one little Irishman.
Yeah. And we call The Irishman Plus, and that's the format that we settled on for our short shows. An Irishman Plus. It's like an Irishman, and then just a little bit more.
I like that. That's how I felt when The Irishman ended. You just wanted more and more.
A little bit more.
You're just settling into the universe. Yeah.
Yeah. So we like to celebrate whenever we reach the point where we have beaten the running time of The Irishman, which I believe we have just done a few minutes ago.
Oh wow!
And we celebrated non-royalty domain music.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So we did The Irishman.
We did it.
And this had a lot more plot than The Irishman.
Yeah. And a lot fewer regrets. That's what The Irishman is about regret.
And it's a George Lucas talk show guaranteed. We have never and will never execute Jimmy Hoffa on the George Lucas talk show. It's never happened. It never will happen.
That is a promise.
That's the promise.
But we might create a fun character like Jimmy Hoffa, who's a guy who coughs.
That's a good idea.
That feels.
I did a thing about The Irishman on the Conan show. We were able to go in the future and get Scorsese's trailer for his next movie coming out in 2028 called The Fighting Man. And it's a boxing movie with Pesci and De Niro, and I mean you'd have to watch it.
I'm sure we can find it. I'm sure it's online.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Did President Obama say you can't tell any of these jokes when you wrote for the Correspondents' Dinner?
Oh, no.
No?
They could care less. He's like one of the best comedians in the country.
Yeah.
He had like so many comedy writers throw him jokes.
Yeah.
He destroyed, and it was unbelievable. So I don't think he cared. As a matter of fact, while he was doing jokes, like he was your biggest fear, because Conan had gone after him, was, I hope he doesn't do the same jokes we're going to do, or the same areas. Because if you do the same, if you do a Mitch McConnell joke or whatever, it totally undercuts what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So that happened a few times. So Conan was just, you could see him on the podium dais waiting to go, just like pulling cards out and tossing them.
Yeah.
Not a funny story, but
That's
it's a
crazy.
true story.
No, but that's crazy that they didn't.
Process story though, and we appreciate that.
It is a problem. It's process.
We want process. That's what we want on this show. It's crazy that they didn't tell you his routine. Right?
No, they were guarded it. They guarded it like crazy.
Surprising.
I'm telling you, he's like a stand-up comic who's protecting his turf, and it was he's in show business.
Yeah.
Where does he work out his material though? I mean, does he hit like the belly room? Is he going to the cellar? Like, where's he taking Air Force One to? Because he's got to work that shit out in front of a crowd somewhere.
Yeah.
The DC Improv, I guess he would sneak in there. Jay goes into Hermosa Beach late at night.
Yeah.
Obama would go in there like at 1 a.m.
I would imagine.
Material.
Because like Camp David, that can't be a very hard to work out material.
No.
I feel like that would be a very.
That is and it's outdoor.
Cold room. Yes. I have heard,
Very
cool. It's funny you bring up Jay doing Hermosa. I have heard that's another thing that Jay and Obama have in common, is that Obama has never touched the money he made as president. He lives solely off of the stand-up. He's just living off the stand-up check.
The Springsteen podcast money and the stand-up. That's it.
That's all.
That is a little known fact about him.
Yeah.
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 Are you guys still doing the Inside Conan podcast?
We're done. We just finished season 2.
Yeah, it's really fun show. I feel like
no one's even the people who work on it haven't asked that question. So thank you. That's exciting to know.
Yeah,
Someone
it's good. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's fun to do.
Yeah,
it's fun to do, and maybe we'll have George Lucas on.
Hey,
this is my favorite director show. I did the Milos Forman talk show a few years ago.
Yeah.
I got to say that show's really dropped off since he died.
It really dropped off. I was on one of his last shows.
Oh wow! What was that like? What was he like?
He just complains about Jim Carrey the whole time.
Yeah, that's not fun.
And then his co-host is Chief Bromden, so that's kind of
makes sense. That adds up. That maps.
But it doesn't. He doesn't contribute. Like if you need to escape from the room, then Chief Bromden's your.
Yeah.
What's the watto?
No, I just remembered because this was like going around the internet last week. I mean, we're having fun and games here. We're all hip guys, right?
Sure.
We know what's what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last week, the Drew Barrymore talk show. It was Drew Barrymore's birthday, and they did a big birthday episode, and Drew Barrymore cried a bunch. So it went kind of viral because every guest who came on, she got like very emotionally overwhelmed by. Your buddy Steve, George, he zoomed in. But then David Letterman was there in studio. And there was this point where Drew Barrymore was talking about like the legacy of talk shows and saying like, Letterman, you were so important to me, not just as a friend, but watching your show, that it was how I ended my night. It's how I would put my brain to rest at the end of the day.
Right.
Letterman would let me know I made it. And Savannah Guthrie was there saying like things like the Today Show, you watch that and it's like, that gets you up in the morning and this and that. So they were like talking about different great talk show guests. And then Letterman, with very good timing and delivery, said like, "Oh, and remember Regis was the best. Remember Regis?" And they all go like, "Oh, Regis, oh, the sweetest." And Letterman went, "Is he still doing that show?" And his joke was consciously, "I know Regis is dead. The joke I'm making is Regis would still be hosting a show even when he's dead." And Savannah Guthrie went, "Oh, and was like in the moment clearly going, how do I tell David Letterman that Regis Philbin died?" And then she goes like, "No, Dave, actually, the show's not happening anymore." It was one of the weirdest moments I have seen on television in a very long time.
I'm glad they left it all in.
Yeah.
She thought Letterman was going Dottie.
He did. And of course, Patrick finds this story.
Letterman was there in the studio.
Yeah.
It was Letterman, Savannah Guthrie, and Drew Barrymore in studio. Cameron Diaz zoomed in, Spielberg zoomed in, but Letterman showed up.
I do wish that Letterman had jumped up on the desk and lifted his top.
Yes, of course.
I think he did get up on the desk. She did.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the segment was about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. He started the bit. This is just us recounting the bit at this point. He started the bit where he came up on Zoom and he was like, "Am I on? I don't think I'm on. Can you guys hear me?" And then like his camera, and then they're like, "Oh, we lost Dave. I guess that was it." And then he like walked in behind her and surprised her. It was funny.
Well, happy birthday, Drew.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Drew.
Happy birthday, Drew.
George, when is your Drew's news this week? George, when's your birthday, George? It's an easy question. George, you must know off the top of your head.
He's watching the Golden Globes after party.
Hold on.
It shouldn't be a reach, George.
When is your birthday?
They're doing
May
the Irishman
14th,
dance.
George, you know your birthday is May 14th, George.
I know it's May 14th.
Yeah,
I've frozen a bunch during this.
Yeah, no, May 14th, 1944. We all know when your birthday is.
I've frozen a bunch of times during this.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's not what we were saying.
What's the question?
We said, when's your birthday?
I've got another question.
May 14th.
Mike, the way we do things here on the George Lucas Talk Show, because obviously these virtual shows, freezing up is always a risk. But we try to own our technical glitches by when the devices and the Wi-Fi fail us, choosing to freeze and carbonite instead. So, for example, if a guest is talking,
you got to do that. That's the way that you trick them.
I did it too. I took too long. You have to do it at the same time.
You said you had another question for George, though, Mike?
What's the other question?
Mort Drucker.
Yep.
Yes, or the man who did those, the Butter Boy and Butter Girl.
Rockwell.
Oh, we doing
Who's
a
the better
bracket?
artist?
We doing a bracket?
Drucker or Rocker?
Drucker.
That's Rockwell.
That's hard. That's like, because they're both comparable. They're both masters of the form. They're very different, but also very, very similar. I feel like Drucker, if he wanted to be a Rockwell, he could have been a Rockwell. I think if Rockwell wanted to be a Drucker, he could have been a Drucker. I mean, I have more Rockwells. I mean, it's easy. I have more Rockwells than I have Druckers, just because of the nature of it. But although not count reprints, because I've got all the Mad magazines.
That's fantastic.
She's got the margarine down there.
I
to really compare them, you need
with a heavy heart.
You'd need to see them both see how they render butter.
Yeah.
And then
I
don't know, Mark.
I'll say this. Indiana Jones never more Drucker.
I don't know what you said, George. I think you froze.
Indiana Jones never met more Drucker. Let's just put it that way.
Indiana Jones.
That is a good point. Well,
but young Indiana Jones did meet Norman Rockwell.
Do you feel, George, that if the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles had remained on air for longer, you would have eventually had Indiana Jones meet all the great Mad Magazine artists. Like, would there have been a Don Martin episode?
This was part of what I pitched. That was really what Indiana Jones 5 was about, was that as he's older, Indiana Jones ends up hanging out with the same gang of idiots.
Right, usual gang of idiots, yes.
Yeah,
right.
and we were going to see everybody. We were going to see Al Jaffe. We were going to see Don Martin, Sergio Aragonés. We're going to see Dave Burke. We're going to see all these people. And
I would love to see, like, George, you creating a timeline, because you're right. I guess it's not the young Indiana Jones, it's the old Indiana Jones Chronicles. But I want to see that Indiana Jones, Forrest Gump style, inspired all of the great Mad Magazine running bits. Yeah. So, like, he walks by a guy who's, like, down in the dumps, and he's like, I don't know, kid, try to see the lighter side of things. And then, like, Dave Berg puts a pipe into his mouth and goes, that's a good idea,
I was always trying to figure out, I remember when we were breaking Last Crusade, I was trying to find a point where Indiana Jones, and it was the same when we were doing on Raiders. I always wanted there to be a fold-in where that was the way that he would find it. I did it with the light. We did it with the looking down at all the tiles. I always wanted to do something where ultimately it was folding in to see the message, but we can never make it work. But we would have done that with when he meets the staff. He would be the one who figures out, like, this is how they'd have these crazy paintings on the back, and he'd be like, no, this is how it works.
Yeah,
right. And he was good at seeing that kind of thing. Spy versus Spy, that's a very... I would have loved to made a Spy versus Spy movie. Boy, that's a regret.
That would have been great. Would it have been full frame, or just like, would it have been in the margins of the film?
No, we'd make marginals inside the Spy versus Spy movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, George, I do want to say I Googled Mort Drucker butter. Okay.
Good Google.
The first thing that popped up is this picture right here, this yellow-red picture of Mort Drucker drawing something. And what is he drawing?
Georgia, the Phantom Menace. Zoom in closer. Zoom in closer.
Oh, there you are, Watto.
Zoom in. But it's Gonzo Watto. It's the Gonzo Watto.
And is that a drawing of me in the background?
That's what I was going to ask. I feel like that is you guys.
Absolutely, that is.
That's me, because look.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He's doing the pose.
You look like Clark Gable.
Yeah.
I'm a dashing man. I
don't think he drew that.
You don't think he drew that?
Just the look on his face. It's kind of like they just set him up and they're like, hold this pencil. And
no, he didn't.
I don't know. He looks a little out of it.
You
think that's
he lived a very long life.
I think that's just a little mischievous.
Mike, this is a scandalous thing you're suggesting, Mike. Can you imagine?
You're right.
This is the same kind of treatment I was getting from Adam Pally early on. You think Mort Drucker was so old and decrepit? Some copycat drew a Phantom Menace spoof and then sat this poor octogenarian in front of a drawing board. Promised him some pudding.
They were playing a horribly cruel joke on Mort Drucker, and now we're laughing at his expense. Well, I'm glad you Googled that, and you didn't Google my Irishman piece. That's fine.
I
Googled it.
Yeah, I got
Mike, I can't show it. I can't show it on here because the little those two dastardly Warner Brothers are going to come after me.
Oh, right. They will come after you. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I just what movie are we gonna?
Maybe we can get away with this though.
Wait, what was your question, Mike? What movie?
Yeah, what movie do you got? Okay. Isn't that great? Look at that. Oh my God.
George, is it funny, George?
He's laughing so hard. George likes the jokes. He's loving this comedy right now.
We're gonna do the whole George. If you keep moving it, the sensors won't pick it up.
I never see George be this expressive.
See that? That's the exact reaction that was intended.
Yeah. George,
he's gonna have a coronary. You've got to. Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh no. Oh, George. George, you should have waited out for some of those LA tapings. They needed you in the audience. You love this.
Oh, he's too funny.
We would have loved this silent laughing.
Oh no, he's sad that it ended. No, it's not.
Oh my god.
He's still going, and he's still laughing. George, he's still laughing.
Oh, this is good. Mike, this is the first. This is
20-minute piece.
Yeah, this is the first time you've gotten to watch one of your pieces with an audience in a long time, Mike.
Well, what's that?
I said this is the first time you've gotten to watch one of your pieces with an audience in a very long time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'd bust my strings for that.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh boy. George, I didn't show you my shirt, George. Mike, every week a fan of the show mails me a shirt to wear based on the previous shows.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show. So this one, George and Watto always ask me what my fucking deal is. So this shirt is this. I just wanted to show this off.
We frankly don't get it. We have not been able to get a solid answer out of it, Mike.
Yes.
Does it say on the back?
Know what your deal is?
Yeah, that
you are.
No idea.
It doesn't say what your deal is on the back.
Mm-mm.
Show us.
Show us the back.
Show us the back. What about on the butt?
Show us the tush.
It doesn't say?
I don't think
Nothing
so.
on the tush.
I don't think so.
Nothing on the tush. I'm still hiccuping from George laughing.
Yeah.
Oh,
But thank you for the noise. Thank you.
That was great.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So what is your fucking deal?
Great question, Mike. Great question. Let's get into it.
No. I don't know. Watto, what do you think my deal is at this point? I feel like you have a pretty good idea of me.
I described it earlier. I think I came with the perfect analogy. He says, you want to go bowling?
Mm-hmm.
You go, I don't know. He goes, come on, let's go bowling. Let's go bowling. Come on, it'll be fun. I don't know. Please, I'm begging you, go bowling. You go, fine. Set up the pins one by one. You get the shirt made with your team name embroidered on the back and on the front, your little name over the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you get the shoes on. Try to decide, do I want to have a beer now? Do I want to wait till after I start the bowling? Do I want cheese fries? You go pick out the right ball, good finger fit, also the right color. You wind up Fred Flintstone style to throw that ball down the lane. And then Patrick steps out right in front of you with a tennis racket and says, you want to play tennis?
You don't know.
I guess that's Patrick. I didn't get that sense of him, but
yeah.
I mean, you spend much more time with him than I do.
Cool.
I've never spent time with him.
Arguably far too much time, Mike. That's what
Arguably far too much time.
So what is the next movie you guys celebrate beating time-wise here? What's the 4 hour?
That's usually it. We usually hit the 4 hour mark and then we start to wrap.
Right.
That's the thing. I mean, you have to understand, Mike, it's like at this point in the night, we've beat The Irishman. And it's not about beating a successive series of different films. You know, it's like we do the show, we have the main guests on, then one or both the main guests leave. We go into the after show. Sometimes a fun surprise mystery guest like you shows up and we have our time there. At a certain point, ultimately, a fun surprise. We were flummoxed. But then at a certain point, you know, the after show has to end. The after show can't go on forever.
Yeah, no. Look, I know you're mad at Patrick for this booking, and I understand, but, you know, he's under a lot of pressure.
No,
and,
let me make it clear. This booking is one of the only things that Patrick has ever done.
Oh, you froze again. I missed that.
It's a fun. Booking you is one of the only things that Patrick has done right. But you have to understand, fundamentally, he's a rat.
Watto.
He is.
Watto, I will say
He's
this.
a water rat.
Mike did ask, what is the next movie that we try to beat? And there was a runtime released this week that we're dangerously close to.
The Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut.
It's running 4 hours. Oh, shoot, where'd it go? I just had it.
And
4 hours and 2 minutes. And 2 minutes. So I think
that is
we
great
wrapped.
because you know what? I did a parody of the Snyder Cut on for Conan.
Yeah.
And I think George would love it.
Okay.
I didn't really.
I wish. I want to watch George watch something.
Oh my God.
Again. I don't know if we could. I mean, you're talking about stretching out the after show.
Yeah.
To beat the Snyder Cut runtime. I don't know if we have that much gas left in the tank. We couldn't do it on after show alone.
Well, now here's the thing. I've heard that the Snyder Cut ends on a massive cliffhanger. Have you heard that?
I haven't heard that.
Which is a great thing to end something that in all likelihood will not have a follow-up.
Sure.
But I think Watto was trying to say something else.
Yeah, so I know what Watto was trying to say, Patrick. Patrick, Watto and I, we are so in tune with each other that that's not part of your job, is to explain to me what Watto was thinking.
Okay. All right.
George, let's just look at each other and nod about what we think should happen next.
Should I howl too?
Yeah. Wow. Woo. Well, welcome to George Lucas Talk Show After Dark, Mike.
Very, very different show.
Very different show, very different vibe.
It's totally different.
Mm-hmm. And I think
you could at least move the boxes.
Mike, very quickly, do you have anything to plug?
You got 10 parody
seconds.
of
You got 10 seconds,
Irish. I'm gonna have oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow. If you want to come by and watch me eat oatmeal, that's it.
And watch The Fighter Man.
Yes.
Don't watch it, Fighter Man.
Watch it.
Nothing's gonna
top George's reaction.
But
we beat it. Yes, we beat it. We beat Snyder Cut.
Oh, we did?
We did it. George, what do you got to say?
What do you mean? About what?
Oh, I thought you were going
to... Can I say something about...
Hold on, not yet.
What?
Davey? Who the fuck is Davey?
And may the force be with you always.
Cliffhanger!